once again, dear viewers. You're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to this week's special edition of Open Mic with my guest for this evening, Miss Natalie E. Brown. She is the U.S. Chief of Mission here to Eritrea, and she is completing her working tour to Eritrea. Welcome to our program.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here. I can't think of a better way to spend my last day in Eritrea.
Right. Miss Natalie, now let's talk about your experiences here in Eritrea. I mean, we are geographically located in a very unstable region, so to speak. But what is your opinion about Eritrea in this matter?
I'll start with the Eritrean people. I have been so warmly welcomed here, and everyone has been so hospitable. Not just in Asmara, every place I've traveled, people have invited me for coffee, for popcorn, my favorite himbasha, and have told me about their lives, welcomed me into their homes. I've met some truly talented and creative people, you know, again, the artists, the musicians. I think one of the high points has been is my ability to travel with officials from the Ministry of Agriculture to look at the wildlife in the country. I've learned so much from the people that I've met, and I've made some, starting to get a little emotional, I've made some really wonderful friendships, and I hope to continue them. I see great opportunities for tourism when it comes to the biodiversity of Eritrea, particularly when it comes to bird watching. Developed a great appreciation for birds. I mean, there's so many birds, and their migratory path includes Eritrea, the variety of them. It's been fascinating to watch them and their diversity, even at our own embassy. And we have 27 different species of birds on the embassy compound. And when we discovered the rich wildlife that we have there, we've made it a priority to protect it. So we're going to start some renovations later this year to upgrade the embassy and make it, I guess, you know, a bit more better prepared for diplomacy in the 21st century. And those plans include protecting, making sure that there's a safe haven and habitat for the wild birds that are on the compound. For the other animals, we have a heron colony that comes every year to mate. We have 2 tortoises there, and we've made that a priority for us because we respect the wildlife here and the Eritrean people's commitment to preserving it.
Okay. And now, you told me I'm going to start with the people. Tell me the rest now about Eritrea.
I think, you know, I think American diplomats, we joined the Foreign Service, we do this work because we want to serve. It's an honor and a privilege to represent the American people overseas. But it's also very interesting to be someplace where the situation is changing. And there's been considerable change, not just in Eritrea, but in the Horn of Africa during my time period here. And it's been rewarding and exciting to watch it, to analyze it, to look for ways that the United States can support the positive changes that are happening. I was just thinking this morning about the visit of President Abiy in July 2018. I was on the street with the Eritrean people watching his motorcade as he and President Isaias, you know, traveled through town. You know, that I even brought it with me. Secretary Pompeo praised both leaders for courageously leading their citizens towards peace and prosperity, and that's what we want to do in this line of business. And it was exciting to see the changes. It's exciting to see the change in relationship between Eritrea and Ethiopia, to think about the possibilities that are open to people on both sides of the border, to think about the trade and economic relations that can develop, and the United States wants to be a partner in that, in the way forward.
Especially with the peace agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia that you've just mentioned, things are changing. And what would you say Eritrea's role would be here?
I think, you know, Eritrea recently has been kind of a convening authority. I understand that the Sudanese Prime Minister is traveling to Asmara today. We've seen Somali officials here, South Sudanese, a range of officials here. I think Eritreans in general, and certainly government officials, they study the region closely. They have considerable insight. I know when my Assistant Secretary of State, Tibor Naj, visited, one of the discussion points with the officials he met was talking about regional dynamics. There's a lot of knowledge to be shared, and we're hoping that the stronger partnership will allow us to have a better exchange on what's happening in the region, how we can work together to influence things to go in a positive, peaceful, productive direction.
Okay, Ms. Natalie, now I'm going to bring you back to some of the achievements that we are very proud of in Eritrea, the MDGs, for instance, and in the Sustainable Development Goals. So what is your take on Eritrea's achievement in these arena? I mean, we have a system in the education system and the health system that is reaching to the rural communities of the country. So what is your take on the achievements that we have?
Well, I do commend Eritrea on the 3 MGDs related to health that it achieved. I think reducing child mortality, combating HIV and AIDS, and then also maternal mortality, improving those outcomes. And these are things that were done with their own domestic resources. I've had the opportunity to visit the hospital in Mindefra several times and to visit the fistula clinic and see all of the work that's being done to assist mothers and also the support for premature babies. It's something to be very proud of. The SDGs, from my understanding, there's a plan in place, and I think about the past year, Eritrea hosted a conference on immunization. Most recently, there was the UN Economic Community for Africa came talking about some of the broader economic issues. There have been a lot of regional conferences bringing people together to talk about these shared goals and how countries can work together to achieve them. And so I applaud Eritrea for using its expertise, inviting people here. I think the only way we're going to make any advancement on these issues, not just in the region but globally, is through coordination and communication. And I look forward to seeing more of that. I'll be watching.
All right. Ms. Natalie, I mean, over the years of your working tour here in this country, we have seen various cultural exchange programs, we have seen concerts, and will there also be more programs such as this?
I certainly hope so. I must say that, the cultural programs have been one of the favorite things that I've done here. When we were looking to, again, revitalize the relationship, to build those people-to-people connections, we realized music, art, culture, those are things where you don't have to speak the same language. I mean, there's appreciation there, and I have been so impressed with the Eritrean people and their appreciation for music. It's not just one type, they just appreciate all music. And the first concert we did was a jazz concert in December 2017, the first time in many years American performers had come to Eritrea. One of the things that we made a point of all of our activities is not only a public performance, but that includes some training and capacity development as well for young artists. It's a great show, and we had incredible cooperation from the Commission of Culture and Sport. And the success of that event, the public response to it told us, this is an area where we can work together, and we put quite a lot of energy in doing that. We had bluegrass, we had folk music. We've brought artists to come. We had a writer's workshop. I mean, every cultural activity that we could think of, we've tried to do that, and we've had so much fun in doing it. Been impressed by the talent of the young people who've taken part of these workshops. A number of the musicians and artists have come back for repeat trips because they've so enjoyed their time here. And we just hope to expand this, and we look forward to the day when Eritrean musicians and artists and painters and writers can visit the United States and share with the American people their talents.
All right. Ms. Natalie, any final messages you would like to give the people of Eritrea?
Again, I just want to thank everyone for the warm welcome that they gave me. It's been a privilege to be here. I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I take a little bit of Eritrea with me. I have quite a wardrobe of traditional clothing. Some zuria, some tilfi, lots of netzalat. As I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of ginger and coffee, especially with popcorn on the side. I've collected a lot of artwork from some of the talented young people here, so when I hang all of this in my house, whether it's in Uganda or it's back in the United States, it will remind me of really the wonderful people here, the friendships I've made, and the incredible potential that's in this country. And I look forward to Eritrea and the Eritrean people achieving it.
Thank you for sharing our floor with us, Ms. Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, dear viewers, that wraps up this week's Open Mic. It is good night from us.